Hi everyone, my name is Precious and welcome back to my show. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about prayer, the place of prayer in marriage. So, before we dive into that, let's talk about the definition of prayer. What is prayer? My own personal definition is that prayer is just communication between you and God. That's just the simplest, definition that I can give it. It's communication between me and God, like helping me to stay connected to Him. So imagine if you're living with someone, you have to communicate, right? You have to talk to each other in order to know what their needs are, like how you need to live with them, what they want, how to please them, how to make them happy, that's basically like basic communication. So imagine now God that created you, He created us, right, and sent us here on earth so we can do His will. The only way you would know what He wants and to stay connected with Him is through prayer. So with that established, let's talk about prayer in the place of marriage. Why is it important for you to pray in your marriage, right? Or to pray for your marriage, to intercede for your marriage. Because a lot of people actually do not intercede for their homes, for their marriages, for their children until they are in trouble, which I don't think that's right. Why? Because that's like praying emergency prayer, like trying to fix it after like everything has been destroyed or something is already going wrong. Now, why is it important to pray for your marriage? God expects us to have a healthy marriage and to experience heaven on earth. Remember in the Bible, Jesus spoke about, like, you kind of like compare the church, Christ and the church, to husband and wife. So that means husbands, you're to love your wife just as Christ loves the church, and the wife should respect their husbands just as the church submits to Christ. Now, we can see, right, that there is that connection there. Now, why is it important for you to intercede for your marriage? It is very important for you to intercede for your marriage because the only way you can enforce the will of God into your marriage is through the place of prayer. The way you can download information from heaven, from God, and get clarification is through communication with Him. If you break off or you cut off that communication, how is it going to happen, right? So there is an important place for prayer in your marriage. Why is it important for you to intercede for your marriage? Because God is expecting you to enforce His will in your marriage. For example, or let's take it back to the beginning. Remember that God created us in His image. And because we're created in the image of God, we also carry the same DNA with God. We also carry the same DNA with God. Now, having the same DNA with God, remember that God said at the beginning, in the beginning, He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That means that there's creative power in His words. So God expects for us to also enforce that same power, that same authority in our homes, in our marriages. So can you imagine if the enemy, and also the Bible talks about the enemy going around looking for whom to destroy, who to kill. Like it has a threefold ministry, like whom to kill, to destroy, right, and where to steal from, right? So if he's not stealing your joy in your marriage, he's trying to kill or destroy the home or destroy the marriage or destroy the children. And in order for that not to happen, God needs for us to stand in the place of prayer to intercede and to pray and enforce His word. So basically, another definition for prayer would be enforcing the word of God in your marriage. So you're getting that clarification from Him and then you're enforcing it in your marriage, standing on the word of God upon your home, upon your marriage, that it should work, right? And it should, what God has said concerning your home and your marriage should come to pass, right? So imagine if the enemy is trying to introduce bitterness into your home, right? And you just let it slide, like, oh, my husband offended me yesterday, but I'm not going to forgive. That's like opening the door for the enemy. So you won't be able to pray, and then the enemy will be able to come into the marriage and destroy the home, which is his ministry, which is his number one goal. So I can talk about like different benefits of why you should pray and you should stand in the gap for your home and for your marriage, but then to also be a blessing to other people, I would say not only intercede for your own home, also intercede for other people's marriages as well. Because guess what? The Bible talks about like whatever it is that you sow, you would reap. When you sow in the place of prayer, you reap the harvest of joy and the fulfillment of God's will in your home. I'd love to hear from you. Like, what do you think? Do you think you should only pray for your home, for your marriage when you're in trouble? Do you think you should take prayer, the place of prayer, very serious, right? I would love to hear from you. For me, I believe you should always pray without ceasing for your home, for your ministry, for everything. Prayer is key. Trust me, you can achieve a lot more with prayer, especially even in your marriage. Thank you so much for watching this episode. See you later. Bye.